Today's daf is Masech Sota Daf Lamed Hey. So we are on the bottom of Lamed Dalet and base, the last line in the middle of the line where it says by Yeshuva Mitur Haaretz. Zok the Gemara. The Gemara is still discussing this that it says in Parashah Meraglim. So it says in Bamidbar Parak Yud Gimel Pasuk Mem Hey by Yeshuva Mitur Haaretz that they returned from the land from checking it out. Vayelchu vayavayu. Then it says that they went and they came. So l'chayra zok the Gemara, vayelchu is extra because it already says in pasuk chafhei, it said right before it says vayeshuvu mitur haaretz. So why does it have to say vayelchu? Just say vayavayu Moshe. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Reb Shimon ben Yochai, that makish the pasuk is coming to say. With Vayelchu, Makish Halicha Labiyah. It's coming to Makish, they're going the Halicha Meraglim to this that they came to the Midbar after they returned from checking out Eretz Yisrael. That Ma Biyah Be'etzara, just like them coming to the Midbar, to the desert, was Be'etzara to Motzi Laz on Eretz Yisrael. Af Halicha, so to their Kavanah with going to Eretz Yisrael, originally their intention was Be'etzara, to do bad. So the Cheskuni does point out Midbar Parak Yedil and Pasuk Gimel, and the Marshal also says the same thing, that although it says Kulam Anashim in the Pasuk, and we say that those Kulam Ksheir and Ba'is Shah, so they say that was only when Moshe chose them to go, but once they were going, they were on the way, they were already had intention to do bad. Zok the Gemara Vayter. Zok the Gemara Vayter. It says also in Pasuk Chav Zayin, Vayisaper Lo Vayimru Banu. They told him and they said the Banu. And then the pasuk says, where's the pasuk? Pasuk of Zion. So it says, "Vayisaper lo vayomer bonu ala aretz asher shalachtono v'gam zavas chalav udavash he v'zeh periya." So and then it says uchsiv, and it says in the hemshech of the pasuk they said divrei sheker. In the next pasuk, it says "Efes ki az ha'am." So that was true. They said "Es taka zavas chol v'dvash" was that period. Then they said "Efes ki az ha'am ayesha ba'aretz va'aram b'tzaris gedolos ma'od v'gam yilidei anak re'inu sham." So zok the Gemara, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Meir, Kol lashon hara she'ein bo dvar emes v'tichlas. Any lashon hara does not have anything truthful in the beginning. Ein miskayim b'soy, for the sheker is not miskayim at the end, because people that hear sheker, they wouldn't believe it at the end, but because over here they said emes in the beginning, so in Mela they believed even the sheker that was at the end, which when they said efes kazam. Zakti Gemara Vaita, the pasuk says Vaita in pasuk Laman says vayas kalev esa'am al Moshe. Zakti Gemara, how did he get the to be quiet? Amar Rabash esisam edvarim. He started saying something, and they thought that he was going to say something degrading at Moshe, and that's how he got them to be quiet, because they saw that Pasuk Yeshua to come shtoi. He started saying something. Amru Lei, they told Yeshua, Dain Rosh Katia Yamalo, is somebody that the head is cut off like you. You don't have kids to bring into Eretz Yisrael, so therefore you don't care if the Aretz is toiva or not. So are you going to speak in front of us? So Amar, so Kalev said to himself, Imishti'ino, if I'll start speaking about the goodness of Eretz Yisrael like Yeshua, Amri b'milsa v'chasmali, then they'll also say my goodness and they won't listen to me. So therefore, Amar Lahan, he told them, Chizubu vad aslanum ben Amram. So it was mashma taka that he was saying something about Moshe. So savar b'genusa k'mishtoi. They thought he was going to say something about the genus of Moshe and say lo yizubu vad. Not only this did he do to us, but he also brought us to this bad land. And he did more bad things. So that's why shtiku. That's why they were quiet, because they thought he was going to say something negative of Moshe. However, Amar Lahu, Kalev actually said something in the Shvach of Moshe, because he said Haisiyanam Mitzrayim and Kalanos Hayam and Kalanos Hamon, and after they did all this tovus for us, Yomer Asusu Lamas Valulu Kir Lo Nishmalai. Would we not listen to him? Avalu we would, and therefore Alay Nala be irrational. We could also go into Eretz Yisrael. Vaita the pasuk says, after Kalev said those words, it says Vanashim Sha'alu Ima Amru loy nuchal. He's like Kichazak Mimenu. Amru Chinu Papa. Davar Gadol Dimmer Rangam L'Sishal. They spoke a big thing because he could dash and Kichazak Mimenu. Al Tikri Mimenu L'Lashon Rabim. That's going on the Yidden. Ela Mimenu was B'Lashon Yachid Kaviyachol. He was saying it on Hashem. And what they were trying to say is Kaviyachol Afilu Baal Bayis and Yachol Lahoiti Kalev Misham. Even Hashem can't take out the umos from there. Can't get rid of them. Another thing, the pasuk says Vayit, it says Vayitziu Diba Sa'aretz, and then it says Eretz Chelas Yashvehi, because wherever they went, they saw that Canaan were dying. Darash Ravadash pasuk Amakadosh Baruch Hu. Hashem said on this that they said Eretz Chelas Yashvehi, Ani Chashavti L'Toiva V'Him Chashvu L'Ra. I was thinking it was a good thing and they were thinking it was bad. Ani Chashavti L'Toiva. I thought it was good. Chol Hichad Matum Meis Chashiv D'Tu. Wherever the Meraglim reached the Meis, Ki Hechid Nitradu. So Hashem wanted to keep the Canaan busy with their burials, V'Loi L'Shalu Abasrayu, and not say, Hashem was trying to sidetrack them that they shouldn't start asking questions and interrogating the Meraglim that were coming there. And they thought that it was Eretz Chelas Yashveh, so they took it the wrong way. V'ikad Amri Zok Gemara, another pshat, that Eve Nach Nafshei, that at the time that they were in Eretz Yisrael, Eve Nach Nafshei, Eve died, with Vidu Kuli Alam Bespeida, and they were all busy with his hesped. And Hashem made it like that Schush should not be made on them. However, Ehim Chash V'Lara, they thought it was a bad thing, and they said Eretz Chelas Yashveh. Zok the Gemara weiter. V'ikad Amri, not Ikad Amri. Zok the Gemara weiter. So the pasuk says in the parasha of Meraglim, in pasuk Lamed Gimel. So it says that the Meraglim said, "V'anahi beineinu kachagavim v'china yinu beinehem." So they were in our eyes like chagavim, like grasshoppers, and we were in their eyes also. Amar Mashashia. From this that the Meraglim said, Amar Mashashia Meraglim shakri havu. They were shakranim. They said they were liars. So Gemara Bishlam him beineinu kachagavim. We were in their eyes like chagavim. L'chayis, it's understood because Kalapi, the giants that they said they had there. But it's like the Gemara, why were they in our eyes kachagavim? So this that they said that we were in their eyes chum. Had they know b'chlal what was going on in the minds of the Nephilim, had they know that they looked on the chagavim. It's like the Gemara of Allah. It's not a raya they were shakranim. Why? Because in the Zman that the Yidden went Eretz Yisrael, so the Yeshvei Aretz were Avelim. Ki have a Mari Aveli, when they would go, the Avelim would go after the Kvur, the mace, Tusi Arzi, they would sit under the trees, the palm trees. Have a Mavri, they would sit there and they would be Menachem, the Avelim. V'chi Chazinu, when the Meraglim saw the Nephilim in the fields, and they got scared of them. Salku Yasiv Yilani. So the Nephilim went up on the trees. They sat on the trees in order to hide. Shami de Ka'amri, and they heard that the Nephilim said, "Kachazinin inchi de damalo kamti Yilani." We see people. It looks like the Yidden got scared when they saw the Nephilim. The Yidden went up to the Meraglim. Went up to the trees to hide, and the Nephilim saw them in the trees, and they said that we see in the trees things that look similar to Chagavim. So Zakti Gemara, that's how they knew that the Nephilim thought they were Chagavim. So maybe it's not a riot to Shakanim. Zakti Gemara, it says right in the Pasuk, in Perik Yudal, Pasuk Aleph, Atisa Kol Eida Vayidnu Eskanel Vayifku. Vayifku Am Balaylahu, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, Oisei Ayoyim, that day the Meraglim turned, it was Erev Tisha B'Av. That was the day that they returned, they came back, Haya. And the night that they cried was Leil Tisha B'Av. Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Him Bachu B'chir Shel Chinam. They cried a B'chir Shel Chinam. It was in vain because it was a good land. V'ani Ekbal Hem B'chir L'Daris. Every day this year, both the Beis Hamikdash were destroyed in that night, and it was Nikba that was B'chir L'Daris. So Gemara Vayta says Vayta in Pasuk Yud Vayirmin Kol Eida L'Ergam Oisam Ba'avonam B'chsiv Chved Hashem Nir B'Yom Marid Amar B'chir Barabba. For this that it says, "V'yom kol eida achved Hashem." So in this pasuk you see, "Malamed shenatlu avonim mizrakim klape Milo." So you see that they took stones and they threw it klape Milo. Also, it says in the pasuk Lam Zayin, "Vayamusa anashim motziyah divas haaretz rava magefa l'fnei Hashem." Amar Hashem l'lakash amesu misa mishana. You see that the Meraglim they died a abnormal death, and what is the misa mishana? Rechni Rapaba darash of Shila Ishkvar Tamari Malamed Shenishtar Tamarta Malamed Shenishtar Nishtarbev l'shoinam v'nafal al tiburim. Their tongues got long and they fell out of the mouth up to the belly button. V'telam yotzim l'shoinam v'nechnasas b'tiburim, and went in the belly button tiburim v'nechnasas l'shoinam and back. And that's how killed them. Yitzchak Amar ba'asker. They died from echayla. It starts in the stomach and then finishes in the mouth. So that because that was the mesa, they died like that because that was the einish that they got for speaking lashon hara. That's what Rashi says. Zok the Gemara weiter. Gemara is going to explain how they went over the Yarden. When the last person of the Yidden went up from the Yarden to Eretz Yisrael, and the Kahanim they went back to the Mizrach of the Yarden. So Chazru Mayim L'Mekayman, the waters of the Yarden went back to its regular place from the split. Shenema, because it says in Yeshua Parakdal Pasuk Ches, Vayiba Lois Hakainim Noisei Aroi Bris Hashem B'Tei Yarden Nitku Kabas Rak LeHakainim Ela Charava. They went back to the shore. Vayishu Meir Yarden L'Mekayim, and the waters of the Yarden went back to its place. Vayechol K'tmal Shosham Al Kol Gedoisav, went back to its regular. Nibtza Zak Gemara Aroin V'Noisav V'Chayanim, the Aron and its carriers and the Kayanim that was standing Mitzad Echad and Yisrael Mitzad Echad. The Yidden on the other side, they crossed over, and there was a Nesa Zak Gemara Nasa Aron Shnesav. The Aron went and flew in the air on top of the Yarden and went to Eretz Yisrael, and it carried the Kayanim with him. Shenemar, it says a pasuk in Yeshua Parak Dal pasuk Yud Aleph, Vayikash Tam Kalam Lavar V'Yavar Aron Hashem, and the Aron Hashem went over and Kahanim L'Fnei Am. So that's what happened. Zok the Gemara Vayter Val Davar Zeh, and on this that everyone saw that the Kahanim weren't carrying the Aron, rather the Aron was carrying the Kahanim. Nenash Uza got punished for this. Shedemar, it says in the Rayam and Parak Aleph, in the Rayam Aleph Pasuk Gimel Parak Gimel Pasuk Tes, that when David went up with the Aron from Kiryas Ya'arim to Egla Resuma to. So it says, Vayavoyu ad Garin Kidai, and it came to Garin Kidai, Vayishlach Uzas Yadai. Uzzah went to put his hand, Lechas Aron, to grab the Aron, Kisham to Abakar. It seems like it fell apart from whatever animals were pulling it, schlepping it. So he saw that it got detached from the Eglah, the Aron, so he tried to grab it, that it shouldn't fall. And it says that he got punished for it. Amalek Kadosh Baruch Hu, Uzzah Noisav Nasa, if the Aron was able to carry the people that were carrying it by the time the Yidden went over the Yarden, you can see they carried the Kahanim over, Atzma Lekolshkin, so of course the Aron can carry itself. So there was a Taina on Uzzah, you see he got punished because he wasn't supposed to be Shalech Yad in the Aron and to grab it shouldn't fall. He was supposed to have a Munah on Hashem that the Aron could take care of itself. That's what the Mitzvah Stavit says over there in Yeshua, that Uzzah was nenash because he had a little bit. He had too little amunah on Hashem because they thought that the Aron would fall. And the Radak says that he wasn't from Shevet Levi and he wasn't supposed to touch the Aron to grab it. Zakting Mar Baiter. It says also in the pasuk in Uzzah Shmuel Beis Parakva pasuk Zayim, Yichar Af Hashem beUzzah. Hashem got upset, angry at Uzzah. V'Yakeu Sham Al Hashal. So it says Al Hashal. So Zakting Amara. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Lazar argue what does shal mean. Chadam al iske shalu on shkagois because he grabbed onto the Aron and he didn't he shouldn't have made the kal v'chomer. The Gemara just said that the Aron carried itself. Chadam or sha'asa tzracha b'fanav, that it's a lashon neshira falling off, and he did his tzracha in front of the Aron, and that's why he was nenash. Zakting Gemara weiter. It says right in the Yom Hashem Aroy Lakim Amar Rab Yochanan Uzzah Balam Haba Uzzah Gadam Lahaba Shenamar Aroy Lakim Ma'ar and Elam Kaim, Af Uza Bal Elam Haba, Suktu Uza also got Elam Haba. Vayter says in the pasuk Vayicher David, Asher Paratz Hashem Paratz Be'uza Amar Blazer Shenashtana Paver Charara. David's face changed, looked like a charara, like a cookie, like the Maral Ma'ato. Kohechesiv Vayicher Hachinami. They say it means a lashon change. The Vayicher usually means anger. It's like the Gemara. No, Hasam Ksiv Af. Over there it says Af, which is cast next to the Vayicher. So that's what Vayicher means over there. But a Hacha by David, like Ksiv Af, doesn't say Af. So that's what you say it means over here. Lashon Shin Panim. So like the Gemara Darash Rava and Neman and Eshtava. Why was David Nenash that Uzzah died al Yadav Neshakar Divrei Torah Zemiris, because it called Divrei Torah Zemiris. Zok the Gemara Vayter. How do you know? Shenemar, it says in Pasuk in Tehillim, Para Kufya Tes Pasuk Nun Dalid, Zemiris Hayuli Chukecha Beves Mugurai, that when he ran away from his enemies, so he would toy with the Torah, and it would be his Zemiris. So Zok the Gemara. Amar le Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem told him Divrei Torah Shekasa Behen. It says in Mishlei Parachav Gimel Pasuk Hey Hasaf Einecha B'Menenu. If you close your eyes and Mesiach Divrei Torah right away, you forget them at the Koros and Zemiris. You're calling that Zemiris, which is Zemiris. You could be Mesiach Das from. It's not a problem. So how can you compare it to Zemiris? So the Gemara, therefore, and that he had to carry the Aron on his shoulder, or not an Agala, the Chsiv, that Moshe gave Agalos to Levim, they say Mishkan, but the Bnei Kahaz, Leinasan, he did not give Bnei Kahaz, Keavodas HaKodesh, they have to carry it on the shoulders. The Iu Asi Ba'aglata, but David had to bring it on Agala. So that's Gemara Vayter. Gemara Dash is Vayter the Psukim of bringing the Aron. It says a pasuk in Shmuel Aleph, Parak Vav pasuk Yates, Vayach Ba'anche Beis Shemesh Karo Ba'aron Hashem. So Dr. Gemara, Meshum Ro Vayach, because they saw, so why did they hit them? Because they saw the Aron and it came to Beis Shemesh, Chayiv Misa. Dr. Gemara's Machlekes Rav or Rav Lazar. What their Aver was. Chad Amar, that although they saw the Aron, but they were not, they were in the middle of working in the fields, and they were Koitzim Mishtachim Hayu. They were cutting in there, they were working, and they just mishtachava, and they didn't stop what they were doing in order to go to the Aron. The Chad Amar Mili Nami Amar. They also said degrading things, klapi the Aron. Dr. Gemara Vayter. Man Amrich di Mariat. Uman Asa Aloch di Payast. What they say? They said these things. They said, who got you mad that you did not save us from the Shvi, and who appeased you that you came to us? Zok Gemara Vayter. It says a pasuk in Shmuel Aleph Parak Vav pasuk Tes V'yachba Am Shiv Mish V'Chamishim Elaf Ish. So Rav or Beleza say that it says twice Ish, it says Shivim Ish, and then it says Elaf Ish. So we learn out that there were only 50 people killed, and it was not 50,070. So the Gemara Chadam Hashem Ishhayu was of 70. And each one of them was shakel, was equal in tzitkas like 50,000. The Chadamar was Chamishim Elaf Hayu, was really 50,000, and each one was shakel like 70 dayanim, which were in Sanhedrin Gedolah. So Zok the Gemara Vayter, after Uzzah died, because he touched the Aron, he tried to grab onto the Aron and save it from falling. So David did not want to take the Aron to Yerushalayim, and rather he brought it to Beis Oived Edom Hagiti. And I was there 3 months until he heard that Oived was gebenched b'schus the Aron, and then he was happy to bring it up b'simcha to Yerushalayim, and on the way he was makraf karbanos in front of the Aron. And like it says clearly in Shmuel Beis Parak Vav pasuk Yud Yud Beis, Zok the Gemara Vayter, it says Vayhi Kitzadu in Shmuel Beis Parak Vav pasuk Gimel, Vayhi Kitzadu Nesa Aron Hashem Shishat Sa'adim. They took big steps, Vayizbach Shar Marie, and they shechted a stuffed shar. Uchsiv, and it says the Yamim Aleph Parak Tesvav pasuk Vav. So they yizbchu Shiva farm. They shechted 70 farm and Shiva elim, 7 farm and 7 elim. So like the Gemara Lachar from in Shmuel's, the first pasuk we brought is only before that they shech the Shayr Marie. So was it Shiva Par Shiva Elim or Shayr Marie? It's like the Gemara. I'm for a Papa Shmuel. I'm a Papa Shmuel. I'll call Psia on every step from Eis Ovid until Yerushalayim. They shech the Shayr Marie, like it says in Shmuel. I'll call Sheish for Sheish Psias. Shiva Param and Shiva Elon. Every 6 steps they shechted 7 and 7. 7 Elon and 7 Param. Amalei Rav Chizda Torah Papa, imkain that they shecht on each Pesia, a Sharim Riyim, Milesis Kalar Yisrael Bames. You'd have to make a Mizbeches and all over Yisrael in order to shecht, I guess, thousands of millions of animals. Elamar Rav Chizda said, Kol Sheish V'Sheish Pesias, Sharim Riyim. On every 6 Psias, they shech the Sharim Riyim. Kol Shisha Sadarim, and every 6 sets of 6 steps, they would shech Shiva Param Shiva Elam. In fact, in Gemara Ksiv, it says in the pasuk in Divrei Yom Aleph Parag Gimel pasuk Tes Vayivayad Garin Kidain V'Yishlach Uzas Yadai, and then it says in Shmuel Beis Parag Vav pasuk Zayin that the Vayivayad Garin Nachin. It says it came to Garin Nachin, and then Yishlach Uzas Sarin Elikim, and Uzah did his chait. So, in fact, in Gemara, how come one time it's called, the place is called Nachin, and one place it's called Kidain? It's like the Gemara, and Rav Yochanan Matchila Kidain. First it was called Kidain because Uzzah died there. But Saif afterwards by Beis Ovid Edom Hagiti, when it was his house was blessed because of the Aron, and everybody had a lot of births. There was no Lashisha B'Karas Echad. So then it was called Nachon because it was Masakim Beis Ovid, so it was called Nachon. It was like a correction. That's the Gemara Darshans in Brachas Parak Daf Samach Dal Manal from the pasuk, and it says Vayivarach Hashem es Ovid Edom es Kol Beisai. Zok the Gemara weiter, Zok the Brisa weiter. Had they go over the Yarden? So Nimtzis HaTaymer, Zok the Gemara, comes out that Shloisha Mina Avanim Hoyu, the 3 types of stones of the Yarden that the Yidden set up. Echad Shehika Moshe B'Eretz Moav, one of them that Moshe did in Eretz Moav when he went over the Torah and translated to 7 different Lashonos. Shenemar, it says at Dvar and Parakal Pasuk Hey Be'Eva Yarden B'Eretz Moav Hoyel Moshe Be'er, and it says that he finished the whole Torah. Lamar Lahalan, it says when Moshe was commanded that they should put the Avadim in Har Grizim, it says in Dvar and Parakal Zayin Pasuk Ches Chasaftan Le'es Kol Devar Torah Azois Be'er Heitev. So it's like the Gemara Asa Be'er. You learn out that just like in Har Grizim it says Be'er, so to by Moshe was Be'er by Kamas Avadim. Like the Gemara Ve'echad Shehigim Yeshua B'Sech Yarden, and other stones where Yeshua put in the Yarden. Shenemar, it says Yeshua Parak Dal Pasuk Tes Ushtayim Esher Avadim Higim Yeshua B'Sech Yarden, put 12 stones, and those were left there for a remembrance that Yidden went over the Yarden. And Dr. Gemara Ve'echad Shehigim Yeshua Be'Gilgal, and other ones was that Yeshua put in Gilgal. Shenemar, it says in Yeshua Parak Dal Pasuk Chav Ushtayim Esher Avadim Me'ila Shalakhu Min HaYarden Higim Yeshua Be'Gilgal. So those are 3 different sets of stones. Zok the Gemara. Zok the Gemara weiter. In Mishnah's Revur before Lama Beis of an Aleph, that they put up a Mizbeach and Har Grizim from the Avodim the Yarden. And they wrote the Torah on it in Shivim Lashon, 70 languages, that the Umm Shvil to learn the Torah. And it said in Dvar and Parachav Zayin, Pasuk Beis and Gimel, Akamoiselacha Avadim Gedolos Asados and Masid, you should cover them with Sid, V'chasafta Leins, called the Torah, so you should write the whole Torah in them. So the Gemara is bringing up Machlokes Hanom, did they write the Torah on top of the Sid, or did they first write the Torah and then cover it with Sid? So the Gemara Tanur Rabbanan, Ketza Kasvu Yisrael Satar, had they write the Torah Mizbeach, Yehuda Oimel Gav Avadim, so where they wrote on top of Avadim, Shenema, it said in Dvar and Parachav Zayin, Pasuk Ches, V'chasafta al Avadim, that's called the Torah. So it's Masha, they wrote a mamish on the stones. And then they cover with Sid. Amalei Reb Shimon told Yehuda Barecha that they cover the Torah with Sid. How did they learn it? The Chayr, you can't, they're not going to be able to print it or learn it if it was covered in Sid. They covered it. So Zok the Gemara, Amar Loi, Sir Yehuda Torah B'Shem, Bini Yisrael Nasman Kadosh Baruch Hashem gave him extra bina. The Shigru Noiterin Shalahen, and they were able to get their scribes, Vikilfus, Asid, Visiyua, they were able to peel off the Sid, and they were able to study it and learn it. Nischatim Gzardinam, and on that it was sealed the Gzardin of the Umas, Lever Shachas, Shehaya Lahen Lomai the Shat Hakash was because they saw the Torah, they're supposed to learn Shem Mitzvah and Kayim them, and to Machnia to Torah Yisrael, but Loi Lamdu, and they did not do it. Reb Shimon says that first they put Sid, Al Gabi Sid Kasavua, and they wrote it on top of the Sid. V'chasva Lahen Lamata, and they wrote the Torah on the bottom. And that's what it says in Devarim Parachaf, Pasuk Yizayin, Pasuk Ches, Gehachim Tachrim Elamana Shayilay, Lamdu Eschem Las Chol Te'avoishem Sha'asol. It came at the Umish Sea. So Halamata, we learn out Shem Hayu Chayzim Tshuva. If the Canaan and the Chutzars would have did Tshuva, and Mekabel Noisam, then we would have them, and the Yidden would not be mitzvah to kill them. And the only reason why the Tzivah is Sachaya Kol Neshama and Devarim Parachaf Pasuk Yizayin was that the Umish should not be Machdi the Yidden. Zok to Gemara. Vaita Amar Amar Shila my type of Reb Shimon. How come? Why Reb Shimon hold the first they did Sid, they covered with Sid, and then they wrote the Torah? The Chesiv, it says in Yishai Perek Lam Gol Pasuk Beis. V'hayu Amim Misrafay Sid Al Iske Sid, that the Torah was written to them on Sid, and they did not learn it, and that's why they got punished. Rabbi Yehuda, Refarash Pasuk, that they got an Einish and Gehenim Ki Sid. Ma Sid Ein Takana. There's no Takana for Sid that should be good. El Sreifa, you have to burn it. Afaisam Akusim is man calls man that they would not come to Megair. Ein Takana El Sreifa. They got Gehenim. So I think more Kaman Ozla Hadatani. Who's surprised to go like that? It says in Dvarim Parachaf Al Pasuk Yud Ki Seisel Amachama Shavisa Shiviyoi. So the words Shavisa Shivi is like Gemara extra. So it's coming to you in Marba Larabis Kananam Shabchusla, or it's that get captured Yada Umais, that even though they got captured against the will, they're not included in L'Schai Kol Neshama. And the Mela, the Dinya Fas Torah, includes also Canaanim that were captured there. And the reason is, Shem Chayzim Shuv Mekabel Aisam. That since, so Zakta Braisa, that the pasuk coming telling Shavisa Shiyah Kanimaram Kanam Shavachutzarat, there will be Chayz V'Shu Mekabel that. Zakta Gemara Kaman, who's that going like Reb Shimon, that holds that the Sheva, that the Sheva Umas and Chutzlars are not included in the Chiyah L'Schaya Kol Neshama if they're Chayz V'Shu. According to Rabbi Yehuda, there's a machlokes in that, but Rabbi Yehuda holds that the Sheva Umas and Chutzlars are included in the Chiyah L'Schaya Kol Neshama. So the pasuk of Shavisa Shivya Ibizai is not going on them.